Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the post-reading activities of the topic How Poor We Are, Lesson 2 of your English book. Number 2, Comprehension Activities. A. MCQs. Fill in the blanks choosing the correct alternatives. ନିମ୍ନରେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ତଳେ ବିକଳ୍ପ ସବୁ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି ସେଥିମଧ୍ୟରୁ ସଠିକ ଉତ୍ତରଟି ବାଛି ଶୂନ୍ୟ ସ୍ଥାନରେ ପୂରଣ କରିବା। Number 1. The rich man along with dash lived in a big palatial building. Alternatives सेଗୁଡ଼ିକ ହେଲା his son, poor farmers, his family, his servant. Correct answer ହେଲା C, his family. The rich man along with his family lived in a big palatial building. Number 2. To protect himself, he had dash a bulldog, private soldiers and a bulldog, one private soldier. Answer hela private soldiers and a bulldog. To protect himself, he had private soldiers and a bulldog. Number 3. The rich man's happiness got doubled when he saw dash the small huts down the hill, the rivers flowing by, the poor farmers living in small huts, his only son. Answer hela the poor farmers living in small huts. The rich man's happiness got doubled when he saw the poor farmers living in small huts. Number 4. When the son would see the poor people living in small huts, the rich man thought his sadness would dash, increase, decrease, disappear, continue. Answer la disappear. When the son would see the poor people living in small huts, the rich man thought his sadness would disappear. Number 5. The son thanked his rich father for showing him dash how poor they were, how rich they were, how happy they were, how unhappy they were. Correct answer is how poor they were. The son thanked his rich father for showing him how poor they were. Number 6. The son wanted to live with dash the poor farmers, his father and the poor farmers, the soldiers. Answer hela the poor farmers. The son wanted to live with the poor farmers. B. Match the persons in A with the contents in B. Write the number 1 for the rich man and 2 for the son in the boxes given. The first one is done for you. ଏ ସ୍ତମ୍ଭରେ ଥିବା ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିଙ୍କ ସହିତ ବି ସ୍ତମ୍ଭରେ ଥିବା କଣ୍ଟେଣ୍ଟ ବା ତାଙ୍କ ସମ୍ବନ୍ଧିତ ତଥ୍ୟକୁ ଯୋଡ଼ିବା। ଦ ରିଚ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍ ପାଇଁ 1 ଏବଂ ଦି ସନ୍ ପାଇଁ 2 ବି ସ୍ତମ୍ଭର ବାକ୍ୟ କଡ଼ରେ ଲେଖିବା। ଏବେ ଦେଖ ଯେଉଁଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଦି ରିଚ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍ ପାଇଁ ସେଗୁଡ଼ିକ ମୁଁ ପଢ଼ୁଛି ଶୁଣ। ଦ ରିଚ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍ ହାଡ୍ ଏ ବିଗ୍ ପ୍ୟାଲେସିଆଲ ବିଲ୍ଡିଂ। ଦ ରିଚ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍ ହାଡ୍ ପ୍ରାଇଭେଟ୍ ସୋଲଜର୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏ ବୁଲଡଗ। ଦ ରିଚ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍ lived like a king very happily. The rich man had in his mind to show his son how rich they were. The rich man has his happiness got doubled when he saw the poor farmers. The rich man took his son to the poor farmers living in small huts. The rich man thought that seeing the poor farmers would change his mind. ଏବେ ଆମେ ଦି ସନ୍ ସମ୍ପର୍କିତ ବାକ୍ୟ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ଦେଖିବା। ଦି ସନ୍ did not like all the richness and glamour. The son sat alone in the garden looking down the hill. The son lived like a prisoner. The son was indifferent to the richness of his father. The son, he wanted to live with the poor farmers. ତୁମେମାନେ ଏଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ଆଉ ଥରେ ଖାତାରେ ସଜାଡ଼ିକି ଲେଖିବ। C. Match items under A with the items under B. Write 1 for the rich man's building and 2 for the poor farmer's hut in boxes. A ସ୍ତମ୍ଭକୁ B ସ୍ତମ୍ଭ ସହିତ ମିଳାଅ। The rich man's building ପାଇଁ 1 ଓ the poor farmer's hut ପାଇଁ 2 ଲେଖିବା। ଏବେ ମୁଁ A ସ୍ତମ୍ଭରେ ଥିବା the rich man's building ସହିତ B ସ୍ତମ୍ଭରେ ଥିବା ଆଇଟମ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ମିଳାଇ ପଢ଼ୁଛି ଶୁଣ। The rich man's building a big palatial building. The rich man's building on the top of a hill. The rich man's building surrounded by tall boundary walls. The rich man's building looked very beautiful in moonlit night. The rich man's building looked special due to lamps. पुनश्च ମୁଁ ए स्तंभରେ ଥିବା ଦି ପୁଅର ଫାର୍ମର୍ସ ହର୍ସ ସହିତ ବି ସ୍ତମ୍ଭରେ ଥିବା ଆଇଟମ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ଯୋଡ଼ି ପଢ଼ୁଛି. ଦ ପୁଅର ଫାର୍ମର୍ସ ହର୍ସ ସ୍ମଲ୍. ଦ ପୁଅର ଫାର୍ମର୍ସ ହର୍ସ ଡାଉନ୍ ଦ ହିଲ୍. ଦ ପୁଅର ଫାର୍ମର୍ସ ହର୍ସ ରିଭର୍ସ flowing by. The poor farmer's horse rest condition. The poor farmer's horse lighted by moonlight. The poor farmer's horse scattered all around. The poor farmer's horse invisible in moonless night. ତୁମେମାନେ ଏଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ସଜାଡ଼ି ଖାତାରେ ଲେଖିବ. Session 4 Listening. A. Your teacher reads aloud some of the following words. Tick those she or he reads aloud. ପିଲାମାନେ ବହିରେ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିବା ଶବ୍ଦ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ମୁଁ ପଢ଼ୁଛି, ମନ ଦେଇ ଶୁଣ ଏବଂ ଟିକ୍ ଦିଅ. ରିଚ୍, ପ୍ୟାଲେସିଆଲ, ବିଲ୍ଡିଂ, ଆଟାକ୍ସ, ପ୍ରାଇଭେଟ୍, ମୁନଲିଟ୍, ଡାଜଲିଂ, ହାପିନେସ୍, ଡବଲ୍ଡ, ସରୋ, ଗ୍ଲାମର, ଫ୍ଲୋଇଂ, ମେଡିସିନ, ସ୍ୟାଡନେସ୍, ରେଷ୍ଟ, କଣ୍ଡିସନ, ପ୍ରିଜନର, ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟି. B. Your teacher will read aloud the following lines. Listen to him or her and fill in the gaps. ପିଲାମାନେ ନିମ୍ନରେ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିବା ଅନୁଚ୍ଛେଦଟିରେ ଥିବା ଶୂନ୍ୟସ୍ଥାନ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ଆମେ ଉପଯୁକ୍ତ ଶବ୍ଦ ଦ୍ୱାରା ପୂରଣ କରିବା. Once there was a very rich man. He along with his family lived in a big palatial building on the top of a hill. His house was surrounded by tall boundary walls. The walls were his protection from outside attacks. He too had private soldiers and a bulldog to protect him. 4. Speaking. Chain drill. ଚେନ୍ ଡ୍ରିଲ୍ରେ 2ଟି ବାକ୍ୟ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି. ତୁମେମାନେ ବାକ୍ୟ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ 2 ଥର ଲେଖାଏଁ ବଡ଼ ପାଟିରେ ପଢ଼ିବ. ମୁଁ ପଢ଼ୁଛି, ଶୁଣ. We have one dog, they have 4. We have walls to protect us, they have friends. B. Practice the following dialogues. ନିମ୍ନରେ କେତେଗୁଡ଼ିଏ ସଂଳାପ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି. ତୁମେମାନେ ପରସ୍ପର ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଏହି ସଂଳାପ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ପଢ଼ି ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କରିବ. ମୁଁ ପଢ଼ୁଛି, ଶୁଣ. Father, look my dear son, we have a dog. Son, but the farmers have 4. Father, we have a pool. Son, but they have rivers. Father, we have walls to protect us. Son, they have friends. Session 5. Number 5. Vocabulary. There are some words in the following word puzzle. Find them using the clues given. ନିମ୍ନରେ ଥିବା ପଜଲ ବା ଶବ୍ଦ ଧନ୍ଦାରେ କେତେକ ଶବ୍ଦ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି. ଆମେ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିବା କ୍ଲୁଜ୍ ବା ସୂତ୍ରକୁ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରି ନୂତନ ଶବ୍ଦ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ପାଇବା ଓ ଲେଖିବା. ନମ୍ବର 1. ଦ ଅପୋଜିଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ପୁଅର. ପୁଅର ବା ଗରିବର ବିପରୀତ ହେଲା ଧନୀ ବା ରିଚ୍. ଆମେ ତାହେଲେ ଲେଖିବା RICH, ରିଚ୍. ନମ୍ବର 2. ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ହାଜ୍ ରୁଫ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ୱାଲ୍ସ. ଫର ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ପଲ ଏ ହାଉସ୍. ହାଉସ୍କୁ ଆମେ ଅନ୍ୟ ଅର୍ଥରେ କହିବା ବିଲ୍ଡିଂ, BUILDING. ନମ୍ବର 3. ବେଟର ଦ୍ୟାନ୍ ଅଦର୍ସ. ଅନ୍ୟଠାରୁ ଭଲ. ତାହେଲେ ଏଠି ହେଲା ସ୍ପେସିଆଲ. ନମ୍ବର 4. ସ୍ମଲ୍ ହାଉସେସ୍ ମେଡ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଉଡ୍, ଗ୍ରାସ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ମଡ୍. କାଠ, ଘାସ ଓ କାଦୁଅରେ ତିଆରି ଛୋଟ ଘର. ଏହାକୁ ଆମେ କହିବା କୁଡ଼ିଆ ବା ହଟ୍ସ. ନମ୍ବର 5. ୱି ଟେକ୍ ଇଟ୍ ହ୍ୱେନ୍ ୱି ହାଭ୍ ଏ ଫିଭର. ଡକ୍ଟର୍ସ ଗିଭ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଟୁ ଅସ୍. ଆମକୁ ଜ୍ୱର ହେଲା ବେଳେ ଡାକ୍ତରଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଯାହା ଦିଆଯାଏ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଖାଉ. ତାହା ହେଲା ଔଷଧ ବା ମେଡିସିନ. ଆମେ ତାହେଲେ ଲେଖିବା ମେଡିସିନ. ନମ୍ବର 6. ଏ ପର୍ସନ୍ ହୁ ମ୍ୟାନେଜେସ୍ ଏ ଫାର୍ମ. ଯିଏ କ୍ଷେତ ବା ଜମି ପରିଚାଳନା କରେ ସେ ହେଲା ଚାଷୀ ବା ଫାର୍ମର. ଆମେ ଏଠି ଲେଖିବା ନମ୍ବର 6ରେ ଫାର୍ମର. ନମ୍ବର 7. ଏ ପର୍ସନ୍ କେପ୍ଟ ଇନ୍ ଏ ପ୍ରିଜିନ୍. ଯେଉଁ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ବନ୍ଦୀଶାଳାରେ ଥାଏ ତାକୁ କୁହାଯାଏ ବନ୍ଦୀ ବା ପ୍ରିଜନର. ତେବେ ଆମେ ନମ୍ବର 7ରେ ଲେଖିବା ପ୍ରିଜନର. ନମ୍ବର 8. ଦ ଅପୋଜିଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଇନସାଇଡ୍. ଇନସାଇଡ୍ ବା ଭିତରେ ଶବ୍ଦର ବିପରୀତ ଶବ୍ଦ ହେଲା ବାହାରେ ବା ଆଉଟସାଇଡ୍. ତେବେ ଆମେ ନମ୍ବର 8ରେ ଲେଖିବା ଆଉଟସାଇଡ୍. ସେସନ୍ 6. ନମ୍ବର 6. ୟୁସେଜ୍. ଲୁକ୍ ଆଟ୍ ଦି ଫଲୋଇଂ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସେସ୍. A. His house was surrounded by tall boundary walls like the Chinese Great Wall. It means the tall boundary walls were not the Chinese Great Walls, but they looked so. ତାଙ୍କ ଘର ଚାରିପାଖରେ ଚାଇନାର ବିରାଟ ପ୍ରାଚୀର ପରି ଉଚ୍ଚ ପାଚେରୀ କାନ୍ଥ ଅଛି. ଏହାର ଅର୍ଥ ଉଚ୍ଚ ପାଚେରୀ କାନ୍ଥ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଚାଇନାର ପ୍ରାଚୀର ନୁହେଁ, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେପରି ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି। ନମ୍ବର ବି, ଦ ସନ୍ ଲିଭ୍ଡ ଲାଇକ୍ ଏ ପ୍ରିଜନର ଇନ୍ ଏ ବିଗ୍ ହାଉସ୍। ଇଟ୍ ମିନ୍ସ ଦ ସନ୍ ୱାଜ୍ ନଟ୍ ଏ ପ୍ରିଜନର ବଟ୍ ହି ଲିଭ୍ଡ ଲାଇକ୍ ଏ ପ୍ରିଜନର। ପୁଅ ଜଣକ ବଡ଼ ଘରଟିରେ ବନ୍ଦୀ ହେବା ପରି ଅଛି। ଏହାର ଅର୍ଥ ହେଲା ପୁଅଟି ପ୍ରକୃତରେ ବନ୍ଦୀ ନୁହେଁ, ବନ୍ଦୀ ପରି ରହୁଛି। ସେହିପରି ଆମେ ନିମ୍ନସ୍ଥ ବାକ୍ୟ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ଲାଇକ୍ ଶବ୍ଦ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରି ଲେଖିବା। Combine the sentences using like. One is done for you. Ramesh is not a good cook, but he prepared the curry well. Answer. Ramesh prepared the curry like a good cook. Number 2. Prakash is not a rich man, but he spends a lot of money. Answer. Prakash spends a lot of money like a rich man. Number 3. The rich man was not a king, but he lived so. Answer. The rich man lived like a king. Number 4. Amit is not an actor, but he acts so. Answer. Amit acts like an actor. Number 5. Usha is not a singer, but she always goes on humming. Answer. Usha goes on humming like a singer. Session 7. Number 7. Writing. A. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. ନିମ୍ନରେ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିବା ପ୍ରଶ୍ନଗୁଡ଼ିକର ଉତ୍ତର ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ବାକ୍ୟରେ ଦିଅ। 1. Where did the rich man live? ଧନୀ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ଜଣକ କେଉଁଠିରେ ରହୁଥିଲେ? Answer. The rich man lived in a big palatial building on the top of a hill. ଧନୀ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ଜଣକ ପାହାଡ଼ ଉପରେ ଏକ ବଡ଼ ରାଜକୀୟ ପ୍ରାସାଦରେ ରହୁଥିଲେ। Number 2. What did he have to protect him? ନିଜକୁ ରକ୍ଷା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କର କ'ଣ ଥିଲା? Answer. He had private soldiers, a great bulldog and tall boundary walls to protect him. ତାଙ୍କୁ ରକ୍ଷା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କର ଘରୋଇ ସୈନିକ, ଗୋଟିଏ ବଡ଼ କୁକୁର ଓ ସୁଉଚ୍ଚ ପ୍ରାଚୀର ଥିଲା। Number 3. How did the rich man live there? ଧନୀ ଲୋକ ଜଣକ ସେଠାରେ କିପରି ରହୁଥିଲେ? Answer. The rich man lived there like a king. ଧନୀ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ଜଣକ ସେଠାରେ ଜଣେ ରାଜା ପରି ରହୁଥିଲେ। Number 4. When did his happiness get doubled? କେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ଖୁସି ଦ୍ୱିଗୁଣିତ ହେଉଥିଲା? Answer. His happiness got doubled when he saw the poor farmers' huts and living style. ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କର କୁଡ଼ିଆ ଓ ଜୀବନ ବଞ୍ଚିବାର ଶୈଳୀ ଦେଖିଲେ ତାଙ୍କର ଆନନ୍ଦ ଦ୍ୱିଗୁଣିତ ହେଉଥିଲା। Number 5. How was the son different from his father? ପୁଅ କିପରି ବାପଠାରୁ ଭିନ୍ନ ଥିଲା? Answer. The father was drowned with richness and glamour, but the son was indifferent towards richness and glamour. ପିତା ଧନାଢ଼୍ୟତା ଓ ବିଳାସରେ ବୁଡ଼ି ରହୁଥିବା ସମୟରେ ପୁଅଟି ଏହି ଧନାଢ଼୍ୟତା ଓ ବିଳାସିତା ପ୍ରତି ଉଦାସୀନ ଥିଲା। Number 6. Why did the rich man take his son to the poor farmers living in huts? ଧନୀ ଲୋକଟି ତାଙ୍କ ପୁଅକୁ କାହିଁକି କୁଡ଼ିଆରେ ବାସ କରୁଥିବା ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ନେଇଥିଲେ? Answer. The rich man took his son to the poor farmers living in small huts to show him their richness and privileges compared to the poor farmers, which would remove his son's sadness. ତୁଳନାତ୍ମକ ଭାବରେ ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କ ଅପେକ୍ଷା ଧନୀ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ଜଣକ ତାଙ୍କର ଧନୀପଣିଆ ଓ ସୁଖ ସୁବିଧା ଭୋଗଗୁଡ଼ିକ କେତେ ଅଧିକ ତାହା ତାଙ୍କ ପୁଅକୁ ଦେଖାଇବା ନିମନ୍ତେ କୁଡ଼ିଆରେ ବାସ କରୁଥିବା ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ନେଇଥିଲେ। Number 7. The son saw the poor farmers. Did it change his mind? ପୁଅ ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିଲା, ସେ ତାର ମନ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ କଲା କି? Answer. The son did not change his mind to see the poor farmers. ପୁଅ ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖି ତାର ମନ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ କରିନଥିଲା। Number 8. What did the son want to do? To live with his father or to live with the poor farmers? ପୁଅ କ'ଣ କରିବାକୁ ଇଚ୍ଛା କଲା? ବାପାଙ୍କ ସହ ରହିବାକୁ କିମ୍ବା ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀମାନଙ୍କ ସହ ରହିବାକୁ? Answer. The son did not like luxury. He wanted to live with the poor farmers. ପୁଅ ବିଳାସିତାକୁ ଭଲ ପାଏ ନାହିଁ, ସେ ଗରିବ ଚାଷୀଙ୍କ ସହ ରହିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁଲା। B. See post reading activity. Comprehension activity 2B. You have already matched A with B. Write 2 small paragraphs on the rich man and the son. Some helps are given. Post reading activity ରେ ଥିବା comprehension activity 2B ଦେଖ। ତୁମେମାନେ A ସ୍ତମ୍ଭ ସହିତ B ସ୍ତମ୍ଭକୁ ମିଳାଇ ସାରିଛ। ଏବେ ଦ ରିଚ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍ ଏବଂ ଦି ସନ୍ ବିଷୟରେ 2ଟି ଛୋଟ ଅନୁଚ୍ଛେଦ ଲେଖ। The rich man. The rich man had a palatial building. He had private soldiers and a bulldog. He lived like a king very happily. His happiness got doubled when he saw the poor farmers. He took his son to the poor farmers living in small huts. He had in his mind to show his son how rich they were. He thought that seeing the poor farmers, the son would change his mind. The son sat alone in the garden, looking down the hill. He lived like a prisoner. He was indifferent to the richness of his father. He did not like all the richness and glamour. He sat alone in the garden, looking down the hill. He wanted to live with the poor farmers. Number C. C post reading activity comprehension activity 2C. You have already matched A with B. Write two small paragraphs on the rich man's building and the poor farmer's huts. Some helps are given below. पोस्ट रिडिंग आक्टिविटी थिबा कम्प्रिहेंशन आक्टिविटी 2C को देख तुमे माने ए स्तंभ सहित बी स्तंभ को मिलाई सारिछ एबे द रिच मैन्स बिल्डिंग एवं द पुअर फार्मर्स हट विषय रे दुईटी छोट अनुच्छेद लेख द रिच मैन्स बिल्डिंग वाज ए बिग पैलेसियल बिल्डिंग इट वाज ऑन द टॉप ऑफ हिल इट वाज सराउंडेड बाय ए ग्रेट बाउंड्री वॉल्स द बिल्डिंग लुक्ड very beautiful in moonlit night. It looked special due to lamps. The poor farmers' huts. The poor farmers' huts were small. They were down the hill. They scattered all around. There were rivers flowing by. They had very rest conditions. They were lighted by moonlight. They were invisible in moonless night. This is all about the post reading activities of the topic How Poor We Are. Thank you.